tell you, those Mondays certainly come by quickly when you're at the heart of the gaming world, the cutting edge of the gaming world, and we got a full studio today. Samit is back in the hot seat.
I am back. It feels good to be back.
Don't you like that hot seat?
Yeah. It feels ever so warm.
As you can tell, we got in the other hot seat, hotter seat, I would say, Fifi Prosper. Nice to see you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Nice to see you, too.
Good to have you back here on the show, and a special guest that you brought along.
We have
Samit.
a special guest here. We have, I believe, the person who handles all these wonderful tournaments of Power League Gaming, and a good personal friend of mine, Mr. John Lacey. How are you today?
Yeah, good, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, great of you to come along. And first of all, tell us a bit about Power League Gaming and what it's all about.
Well, it started about 1 year ago. We began with FIFA tournaments, which is probably the biggest title in the region, close to Call of Duty. Then we went into Call of Duty tournaments, and then after that we followed up with success on Halo, and now we've moved into Warner Brothers' new title, which is Injustice.
All right, tournaments are a big part of gaming. It's quite interesting. It's a different kind of breed of gamers that get into tournaments, isn't it? Than, you know, we're talking to Fifi and also Sparkaleptic last week, that they're not really into the tournament side of things.
They're not good enough.
You know, they're not good. But, you know, it's a real kind of different breed of gamer that takes part in these things.
Yeah, there's in the US and Europe, historically, it's been sort of the geek, the guys that have grown up on, you know, PCs, the sort of hardcore titles. But out here, it's moved into sort of a next generation of gamer on one of the big mass titles like FIFA 13, which is a huge global franchise, an annual title, Call of Duty, which is one of the biggest franchises in the world.
Yeah.
So these are up there with movies now and music. The industry as a whole, and tournaments and esports, the whole thing, it's just becoming absolutely huge. $1 million tournaments around the world, not just one-offs now. Every other month, people are winning $1 million. On gaming tournaments.
If I need to compete to win $1 million, I'd do it. I'd jump on those kind of games.
Yeah, change of thought.
Change of thought.
I'm going to ask John, you brought up a very interesting thing. That we're seeing like a really next generation of gamers out there and so forth and everything. And I've got to ask, and I know that Fifi will understand why I'm asking this, but it seems to me that they've been playing a lot of consoles. I think consoles is the next shift, right?
Yeah, it's the big year for consoles as well. Possibly, you know, the last year we'll see a big sort of generation of consoles come out with the Xbox 720 or PlayStation 4 that's currently being revealed, and more you're hearing about that. But yeah, competitive gaming out here is very much on the console, Xbox and PlayStation.
See, I told you. I told you. We've been having this ongoing debate on air and off air for the last few weeks, saying console or PC, and we say switching between, all right, props to both, but it's more PC, like PC is better for these kind of games. And then Sumit's like, no, it's all about consoles and the death to the PC, you know. So you've been put on a little bit of a hot seat because you wanted to get back at me.
No, the purists will say that it should be PC, you know, and the majority of the esports as a whole has been brought up and grown through a commitment to PC gaming. StarCraft has led the way.
Absolutely.
League of Legends recently from Riot Games has been absolutely huge, but consoles, have just become more and more sophisticated and network play. Then moved to online play, and now you see huge global leagues for Call of Duty, and even real-time, updates from the Premiership and the Serie A and these sorts of things on games like FIFA 13. So you feel when you're playing online and against other people, you're playing with the real team.
Awesome.
I've got to ask though, the concept of Power League Gaming, how did this all come about?
Look, I was a gamer myself. I think most people in the industry, have a passion for gaming. Probably the ones making the money probably don't, but
which is a shame.
Yeah. So I played World of Warcraft for a long time. There was a big MMO online. I played PvP, and I was a huge fan of the game. And I thought naturally then, we needed to see something here in the competitive gaming scene. As I witnessed on World of Warcraft, there was a lot of players in the region who were playing the game, but there was no real scene out here to bring them together. And then I did a few projects on FIFA, with different brands, and we did small tournaments, and then there was just so much demand for it. I couldn't believe the amount of demand that we had. We opened a Facebook page, that just exploded, went to 500,000 fans now. And it's really the idea for PLG. really just came out of an evolution of doing tournaments, and then it was a natural fit, seeing what MLG had done in the US,
right?
What ESL's done in Europe, and similar leagues all over China and Korea. Then it just made sense to do it. I'd worked with the gaming industry. I'd worked with Xbox. I'd worked with PlayStation. I was responsible for handling games 10. And was heavily involved in Games 12, but I was responsible back then for Games 10, and I just got to know the industry very well here, and it's a great bunch of people, and they've been very supportive, and hopefully this year we'll have some much bigger things to announce and move things forward even more.
Oh, excellent.
I'm just kind of getting a picture. Are all these leagues online, or are there actual tournaments in venues as well?
Yeah, real. We kicked off. I think the real excitement for the fans is when they come together to a live tournament. You can all play online and hide behind a PC, and people really not meet up. But the exciting thing is when you bring them together. We did the launch of FIFA 13 at the IMAX. So we had 60 consoles, and then the semi-finals and finals were played on the IMAX screen at Maidan.
Oh, wow.
Call of Duty, we had it 2 months before launch, so we had that at Games 12. That was an amazing one. And now we're doing Warner Brothers Injustice all around the region, and we've been already to Qatar. We're going to Bahrain this week. We're going to be in Riyadh later on, and then we come back for the Middle East Film and Comic-Con. So MEFCC, you can actually win a trip to Paris to the World Championships.
That must give gamers a real adrenaline rush when they're in a room with so many other gamers, because like you say, you can hide behind your PC, your console, behind the TV and play all day, and if you get beat you might just be a little bit annoyed at yourself. But if you're in the room with so many people who are passionate and going for it, it must be like watching a football match.
The pressure is very, very different, and you see now the Intel Masters in Europe is absolutely huge. They're filling football stadiums with gamers. It's unbelievable.
I know, the way I see it is that if I'm playing behind a console and I'm losing, I'll just be like, oh, my internet connection just went off all of a sudden. I just had to pull out.
I'd probably go into a rage quit.
Quit.
No, my game was on pause, and
you said
didn't
that
realize.
The console, it's a big year for the consoles, and then we've got Fifi who's in the corner for the PCs. Now, as an amateur player over here, and I'm sure there's lots of people listening who are a little bit like me.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, when you're playing on the PC, do you have like a remote control? Or?
All right, when I play on the PC,
Or do you use your mouse?
It's usually maybe 60% of the time. I don't prefer PC over console. I appreciate both for what they can offer.
Okay.
Right.
It's just with certain kind of games, I appreciate the graphics of a PC much more than a console.
But how do you play them?
How do I play them?
Do you use the mouse?
Yeah, it depends on the game,
Okay.
but mostly on the PC, I've connected my Xbox controller.
Oh,
to the
so you
PC,
do have a controller.
You just you built your own console then.
I absolutely love using a controller. Like, I am not comfortable using the WASD and the mouse, and it's just too much to do.
Then you can't call yourself a PC gamer.
I'm not a PC gamer, and I'm also not just a console gamer. I'm a little bit of both. I appreciate good graphics. I'm a very visual person.
You're a world gamer.
I'm a world gamer. I'm a Switzerland kind of gamer.
Now we're going to take a little break. 4001 is our SMS if you want to text along any questions. Couple already, and if people want to hook up with you guys,
tweet us at Fifi Prosper,
okay, and at Lloyd and Lumber as well. We'll talk a little bit more about these wonderful leagues and tournaments, and what's in store for us, what we can enter, and some of those great prizes that we can win, all coming up after the break. Yeah, we got a room full of gamers today, and as I said, keep your questions coming into 4001. Before we go any further, Hayley's got a little confession to make. She's been out buying a couple of games.
Excellent! I'm so happy.
So I thought we'd put you on the spot.
What you been playing, Hayley?
Toy Story 3.
Hey,
Excellent.
that actually, surprising enough, is a good game. I did not expect it to be that good of a game. Considering it's a movie-based game, I did not expect it. It's not bad.
It's the train track at the beginning, and you're dodging all the things and jumping over the things and getting splattered everywhere. It's amazing. My heart was racing.
Nice. There are a lot of movies that they make games about that are really nice. Like I remember playing Tintin also.
That was horrible.
A lot of movies that turned into games. Like, Tintin was really good. No, I enjoyed it.
Movie-based games are horrible. What are you saying?
Not in general, but I think like Hayley's saying, Toy Story is exceptional, and maybe Tintin.
Do you know why Toy Story is exceptional?
Because she's getting into gaming right now.
No. It's big. It's not only that. That actually is a big plus point. The biggest thing behind it is that it's not related to the movie. It made a separate storyline. It didn't follow a movie-based thing. Every game that's been a movie-based franchise has been horrible. Every single one.
But as an amateur gamer, as I keep calling myself, I think that these movie-based games, that they drag me in because I don't know what to look for when it's all these new games. So I can start, and I think people could start enjoying games by things that they're familiar with.
Absolutely, she's identified with the characters.
That's just good marketing right there. That's what they did.
All right, and anyway, good on you, Hayley. Go and buy another game this week.
Way to go, girl! I'm so proud of you. Yay! Gamer salutes.
Now let's get on to our first game review today. What have we got there on the menu?
I think what we're going to touch upon is I think the long-awaited Gears of War Judgment, and it's a game franchise that a lot of people have been enthusiastic about, and one of the big things that why we're going to talk about this game, it actually was the launch title of the Xbox 360 when it first launched.
Was it really?
Gears of War was the launch title of Xbox. And now that we're seeing that, there is a new Xbox coming on the way, this could be the last Gears of War before the next Xbox actually gets announced. So, and one of the things we'll actually notice about Gears of War Judgment, it's not so much as a sequel to Gears of War 3, it's actually the prequel story before the even main protagonist, Marcus Phoenix, actually comes into a factor. So you end up playing as side role characters and actually find out that what has taken place before Judgment Day has actually arrived in the Gears of War franchise. And from what I've seen and looked at it, the graphics look great, they function properly. One of the most amazing things about Gears of War, other than storyline and graphics actually, is the multiplayer aspect, that friends used to go up there and have heavy machine guns and so forth and just try and beat aliens and everything. So, and they even came up with some interesting new techniques that have been implemented in many other video games. Like Gears of War was the first one to actually properly implement a cover system, where that if you have an enemy firing at you, you actually are able to duck and hide yourself behind certain crates or walls or everything that sort. On top of that, it created an entirely new multiplayer aspect called Horde Mode, where the idea is that you and 3 of your other friends can come online together and be surrounded by a flagship of zombies and aliens and completely be bombarded by them. And that's actually what the Horde Mode is, and they've revolutionized how the gaming franchise is and what it actually progressed to in terms of graphic elements, storyline telling, and so forth. And with Gears of War Judgment, it's a great way to see that why did all this take place to begin with, and see how it ends from there.
Let's go around the table. Fifi, your thoughts on this?
It's a testosterone infested game. Like, it's all about guns and chainsaws and like attached together. I mean, that's my kind of game. I love games like this.
I won't deny the fact that even with Gears of War 3 and similar with this one, having female characters in there attract a lot of the female audience into this. Just the idea of a woman just walking out with a chainsaw machine gun and blasting enemies and so forth seemed very appealing at that time.
John, is it the kind of game that would go well on a league? And
traditionally not so much. We haven't seen Gears feature in global leagues that much, but now they've introduced the TDM Team Deathmatch, so it's going to be exciting to see how that really affects the esports scene, if it's going to be pushed as a big title on the competitive gaming front. We hope to add it, but we'll wait and see.
As a gamer, have you played it?
I love Gears of War as a game. It's actually my favourite game on the Xbox. I'm a big fan of Gears versus I think some people like third-person shooters, some people like first-person. I really enjoy playing all of the Gears titles.
All right, let's have a listen from the developers then, see what they've got to tell us about this game. And if you've got any questions on either this game or any others, then 4001, or you can contact Fifi.
Yeah, contact us. I mean, you could tweet me at Fifi Prosper on Twitter, and I mean, let's talk video games. Tell us what you guys think.
Gears of War Judgment.
The world was created to hold a lot of stories. I mean, that was the reason we created it to begin with, was we wanted to create a world, a planet, with we could hold basically as many stories as we wanted. When we looked at the time that we hadn't told, we really hadn't focused much on E-Day and sort of it being before the story before the story, and it seemed like a logical place to go. To go back to the days of just after E-Day, where the Locusts were new, you had that fear of them again. We've played with lethality, we've played with damage, we've played with health and a lot of things, so that when you see a wretch now, like when you're playing on hardcore and a wretch comes bounding at you, you're nervous, you're scared, because 2 swipes and you're down. the context for the story, and the gameplay is this trial. Basically, the game starts with Kilo Squad being arrested and brought before Colonel Loomis to go under trial for basically going rogue through this mission. We allow you to play the testimony that's being given in their defense. So sort of you play the flashbacks while the court scene is in real time. As you play through that, you actually have the opportunity to change the testimony by taking different choices and taking on new challenges in the level. So it's kind of what we call declassification, where there'll be classified information like, did you know that dark wretches showed up in this mission? Usually that's classified. That wasn't on the record, but you can declassify that, and now not only have you changed the testimony, but you actually get different gameplay because now you're fighting dark wretches where you wouldn't be normally. Judgment's role in sort of the franchise is that it serves a couple of purposes. One is that it allows us to give more Gears content before the dark period of the console transition, you know, and there's going to be this lull of content where we're sort of focused on what's next, and we didn't want to go too long without having something for Gears fans to be able to play, so Judgment serves that. But it also is an opportunity for us, because the fact that it's outside of the trilogy, that we can play with it and experiment and try new things. And so when you go and play, you realize we've remapped controls, the way that we tell stories are different, the way that you play the game is different. What's really interesting is even with all those changes, it actually feels a little bit more like Gears 1. It has that sort of essence of Gears combat to it, that it feels like the combat bowls and the straightforwardness of it and the intensity and the visceralness of it harkens back to Gears 1 more, yet it's a lot of changes to kind of the formula. People Can Fly has been a part of Epic for over 5 years now. They joined us in 2007. What we wanted to do is find this sort of way of bringing sort of the old guard of the Gears team from Epic, and then the new ideas and the exciting ability to experiment and kind of break the mold that PCF could supply. And so bringing those sort of two teams together to make Judgment has been a perfect sort of mix on how we think about that sort of, okay, we're making sure it's true to Gears, but also we're bringing a lot of new ideas, and they're bringing a lot of new influences and like how we tell a story differently, how do we change the gameplay and those sorts of things.
There it is then, Gears of War Judgment. Are we out with this one yet, Samit?
No, that's actually out in the US tomorrow, and I think here in the Middle East by the 22nd. So just in 4 days. In 4 days it should be out. So expected like sometime next week.
Okay, is it going to be a chart topper, do you expect?
I think so. I mean, there is a strong Gears of War fan base here. God knows what Microsoft is doing to market this game. It is one of their great flagship titles out there as well. So I definitely do see it coming in the top 10. Number 1, though, that's going to be tough to beat.
What about you, John? What are your thoughts on this game becoming a big seller?
Yeah, I hope it is. You know, I've always been a big fan of it, like I said, and I think with the multiplayer now, if they really push that hard, then people will get into it, definitely.
Okay, Fifi, I can see you tapping away there. I think we've got a few tweets coming into the show.
Absolutely. We asked our Twitterati what's their favorite online shooter, and Adol Fishu actually said back in the day it would definitely have to be Diablo and Counter-Strike. Hexen 2 online death matches were freaking epic. And awesome, like, thank you so much for tweeting us, and it's really cool. And we also asked if people are looking forward to Gears of War Judgment, and we had a tweet from @MooderDXB saying, pre-ordered mine already and definitely looking forward to it. So, I mean, this just goes to show that there's definitely a following for this kind of game, and everyone's so excited about it.
I'll say one thing, though. I am a little bit disappointed with this particular Gears of War, is that there's no collector's edition for it.
Really?
Yeah, this is the first Gears of War since the first one till date that they haven't announced a collector's edition. No steel tin box, no action figure, no statue, no downloadable content.
You know, there are a lot of
something.
action figures with them.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, you do.
Like Barbie dolls.
No. Action figure. Not a doll.
You know, like we were talking about it earlier with some gamers over the weekend, and we were actually talking about the purist gamers believe that there should be no limited edition hard tin kind of like games or copies of the game.
Right.
There should just be the original game, because what we're doing is we're giving them enough ammo for them to raise the price and for us to have to pay more, and it's a little bit more of a hassle.
I am all for the idea of a cheaper thing, but for me personally, the hardcore gamer would want the extra stuff. He would want the memorabilia. He'd want to fantasize about his characters and so forth.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
keep that memorabilia.
Absolutely, and we're that kind of gamer too. We have a collection.
I mean, you've got the option at the moment, haven't you? You know, if you're not a collector and you don't want, you can go for the standard.
No one's asking you to buy it if it's there for the for the much more stronger fan, then that's his option, and like no one's forcing. Like, so for these gamers who've said that past these comments, I'm like, buddy, it's your money. If you,
absolutely.
I
stand where you stand on this. I mean, these are pure gamer, like purists.
Exactly, these are purists. They don't want to be tainted.
No.
Okay, a text message come along. We'll just address that quickly before we get to the news. Can you guys have a look at Armour 3? That's coming from James.
Armour 3. We can, but you'll have to give us more insight about it, and I think we'll have more on that by next week.
Yeah.
Okay. Keep your text coming along, as I said, to 4001. John, just quickly as well again, the gaming competition that's going to be coming up at Comic-Con, is that kind of already full, or can people still take part?
No, you can definitely take part. So, I think there was around 15,000 people at Comic-Con last year. We had well over 1,000 people take part in the tournament we did last year, which was Mortal Kombat, which is also from Warner Brothers and NetherRealm Studios. So this is actually from the same developer, NetherRealm. Injustice has some similarities to Mortal Kombat, but also has some things that you could say are similar in sort of games like Street Fighter. So it's not a complete copy of Mortal Kombat, even though it's from the same developer. It's good. It's just good that Warner Brothers have supported this again, supported MEFCC, DC Comics as well. Obviously, all the characters from DC Comics are in there. They're announcing the final characters now in the game. So there's, I think, around 24 characters in total, all classics from DC Comics. So superheroes, heroes and villains that you would expect: Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Green Arrow. It goes on and on and on.
They're all there.
Yep.
And as ever, Game On at this time, it's a look at our top 10.
Coming in at number 10 is FIFA 13 for the Xbox 360. At number 9 is Crysis 3 Hunter Edition for the PS3. Number 8 is FIFA 13 for the PS3. Still in the top 10 at number 7 is Call of Duty Black Ops 2 for the PS3. Recently released, number 6, StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm Collector's Edition for the PC. I just finished my copy at number 5 of Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Shippuden 3 for the PS3. At number 4, Sniper Ghost Warrior 2 Limited Edition for the PS3. Coming in at number 3 is StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm PC. At number 2 is SimCity Limited Edition for the PC. And Lara Croft takes number 1 with Tomb Raider for the PS3.
Yeah, though, there she is. We didn't think it'd take long for Lara to come to number 1, did we?
Absolutely, thank God.
We're kind of celebrating.
Absolutely.
And that brings us to a question, Gavin. How do you rate the new Tomb Raider? Let's go around the table.
Well, the new Tomb Raider is awesome. Like, we just did a review for it on Region 2, and it looks great. I mean, we were talking about it a little bit off air. I mean, they completely broke down the character. This is an independent, this is Lara Croft before she became the super shooter that she is, this completely independent woman. So you can totally relate to this character. And I mean, I love female protagonists in video games. Yeah, absolutely. So it's pretty exciting,
It sounds like you see another side of Lara Croft in this.
Yeah, you see a side that is broken down. It's relatable. It's someone you might know in life, or someone who is just put in a bad situation who's trying to get out of it. So it's pretty cool. Absolutely
relatable. Yeah, have you been abandoned?
I've been abandoned on an island, and I just didn't want to tell you guys, but I guess the secret's out.
Were
now.
you on Survivor?
What about you, John? Lara Croft. I mean. The iconic real game that went to a movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, if it's not Angelina Jolie sort of jumping around, firing a lot of hardcore weapons, then I'm not really interested, to be honest, in this cycle.
Right.
I really found it painful to play the original ones. Now, I hear a lot of good things about this title. I maybe give it a go in my 5 minutes a week that I do actually get to play some games. But I'm not a big fan. The franchise I'm a fan of, but the title itself in the gameplay, I've never been a big fan.
Okay, did you expect it to be as big as it obviously has been?
Honestly speaking, I did not. I expected the standard Lara Croft video game, and after actually coming down and seeing the game pre-show and before launch, and meeting with the Arabic voice actress for the first time, so I was Miss Lebanon, which is absolutely amazing, and having Lara have an Arabic voice to it, and particularly her face, she kind of looks like her, to be honest.
Absolutely.
I just noticed that.
You can't help but feel like they were inspired by by her.
And one of the most amazing things that you feel about this particular Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, is that you won't actually get the understanding that it's not your typical Tomb Raider game. It doesn't feel like a video game. She's more human-based. She's more realistic. She's like crying in tears.
You were saying the opening sequence is Oscar material.
The opening sequence itself is a very Oscar material kind of performance, and it's like you actually get to feel the emotion of what she goes through, from being captured, being coming out of a temple, from seeing all these rocks and it's a very Indiana Jones, come Uncharted, come Lara Croft mix into it. And the most amazing element behind it is that it doesn't feel like a video game. It feels very human based. And for them to shoot such a direction behind it, it really goes to show you what games are looking at here, that they're touching the emotional and human element to the consumer, rather than just giving them the fantasy appeal to it. So you will actually feel some emotional distress for Lara. You'll be like, okay, I've got to save her. I've got to get her out of this. I've got to hunt so-and-so person and whatnot. But it just... It's incredible what they've pulled off here, and it definitely deserves the #1 title.
Deserves the #1. Haley Croft, her sister over here.
Well, you see, in my Tomb Raider days, this sounds like something I would definitely buy.
Well, I mean, Samit just said to you in the break there, if you're going to get your next game, get this.
Yeah, it's a personal recommendation, so I've got to go with that. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
Now, talking of female gamers, I believe we've got one listener who made a sacrifice today.
She absolutely did, and I'm talking about Adol Fishu, and she actually snuck in her radio to work just so she can listen on to the show. And I really want to tell her, like, major props, and you know what? Girl Gamers for the win, this is awesome.
Oh, that's good.
Let's have a listen into the developers of our #1 game, Tomb Raider.
My name is Carl Stewart, and I'm Global Brand Director for the Tomb Raider franchise in Crystal Dynamics. So the adventure takes place on a fictional island inside the Dragon's Triangle off the southeast of Japan. And for us, it's a place shrouded in mystery. It's almost like the Bermuda Triangle. It's a single location. It's an island that we've created. It's a bit like a Pandora's box for us. It's a clean slate to be able to tell a narrative from a young girl who goes on her first adventure and gets shipwrecked on an island, to going through this sort of personal exploration of how her character evolves from the Lara Croft by name when she lands on the island to the Lara Croft action adventure hero when she leaves. It's a great sort of canvas for us to be able to bring to life this unique character. With every storyline, when you're trying to start from just this nugget, this kind of small little idea, things land on the table, you look at them, you see whether or not it works for you. You maybe put them in the game and you play with them for a while and you realize that they're not right for us. In some of our area explorations, and we talked about it a bit, was obviously there was a horse, and to us, the horse didn't work for us. It was something that we just pushed aside, but there was many other things that we just kind of discarded. I think at one stage we had a little girl that Lara would protect, who was also a survivor, and what we found was it sort of detracted from what we were trying to achieve, and that's bringing our character to life. There was in the future probably a facet of bringing too much emphasis onto a secondary character and taking away from what we're trying to do with Lara and reimagining her. So, I think in every single process, and no matter whether it's movies or books or video games, you have to go through that iterative process. And for us, there's many things we left on the cutting room floor, and it's a great exercise. How did we come across Camilla Luddington, who is now the voice of Lara Croft? Probably about 2 years ago, when we started casting for the voice, we brought in voice. It had to be young, it had to have a range of emotions. It really had to bring a sort of a side to a character that we've never seen before. We had actually brought in 2 different girls, whittled it all the way down to these voices. And eventually we ended up with Camilla at the very early stages. Camilla, voiced some of our, what we class as vertical slice internally, and as we were playing the vertical slice, she was bringing something very unique to the character, and just doing due diligence, we said, right, well, before we finally commit, let's make sure we do one final search. So we went out, and I stayed up so late at night with many of the other team, listening to many performances coming in from all around the world, and the thing we actually came across was we kept referencing back to Camilla. We kept listening to voices and saying, well, it's not as good as Camilla's voice, she does that role. And before we knew it, we were like, I think we found her. I think we have the girl. So she's been on the project now for I suppose between 18 months to 2 years, and she's done a phenomenal job.
There we are then, Tomb Raider. It's our number one game this week, and a big thumbs up from the people in the know on our GameOn team. Fifi?
We got a tweet from King of Rifa asking what our favorite games are. I personally love first-person shooters, adventure games, things like Borderlands and Portal. What about you guys?
I'm just going to go, I won't go with categories. I'll just state my first three top games: Mario, Legend of Zelda, Metal Gear Solid. Plain and simple.
Awesome. John?
Yeah, I'd have to put Mario in there historically. Definitely, you got to have that one in there. But World of Warcraft for me was my favorite.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And we got another tweet from @Lacoste8 saying, "I'm still playing Mortal Kombat through, though there are bugs and infinites, still a Mortal Kombat dominant force." And then he says, "Got it since 3 days and still no time to play. Looks awesome as well."
That's torture, isn't it? Yeah. A couple more things on our top 10 we just want to quickly point out.
Just really point out, first of all, seeing StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm up there, really, really strong game up there, considering it is an expansion pack. Let me just remind people that to enjoy StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm, you have to have the original copy of StarCraft 2, and it's a great game out there, great fanboys. I mean, Korea runs on it.
Absolutely.
What can I say?
We went to we covered it for Region 2. We went to the midnight launch, and there was quite a few people. There were quite a few people waiting outside, and there was quite a long queue, and everyone just wanted to get their hands on the special edition, the collector's edition one. And I mean, this is a game that's fully, it's anticipated by so many people, and there's such, as Samit was saying, there's such a huge following for this game. Unbelievable.
So do you use an Xbox controller for that one?
I prefer not to answer.
A couple of other things as well. Seeing Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 3 up here, this is a game I picked up 2 weeks ago, just directly after the show, and I've been playing it ever since. I just finished it yesterday, and I can easily say it's a great game. It's got a couple of bugs in it, but seeing it up here on the top 10 goes to show you how strong of a Naruto Japanese fan base anime is over here in the Middle East, and I'm sure many people like myself are playing this game in Japanese as opposed to the English dub version.
Absolutely.
So that's where the real fun is. And
why would you want to do that?
honestly speaking, the voices sound so much better.
It's more authentic when you play the Japanese version.
Even though you don't understand what they're saying.
No, I mean, there's
but
subtitles.
there's subtitles.
There's subtitles though. And last but not least, I do want to point out this is a very funny matter, and I'm just going to point this really quickly. Seeing SimCity Limited Edition on PC on number 2 is quite funny, considering the game doesn't work. So
yeah, major
it's quite funny.
facepalm, for real.
Yeah, that's really funny. And I'm wondering, are they getting the same deal that EA was giving, that, hey, we'll give you a free game? So maybe then it makes sense.
I can't believe that Call of Duty is still in the top 10, still going.
That is something that, I know that you were there when you did the launch for Call of Duty, a fantastic launch, and it goes to give you props for that.
Yeah. It's the launch, it's the tournaments, it's everything that we did.
Since November, since the game launched, till about 3 weeks ago, it's been our number one. It's finally, no offense, it's nice that it moved down to give other people a chance.
Just for a change.
Props. But props to them for a job well done.
All right, you can text us on 4001 with your gaming questions. You can also get in touch with Fifi, who's got another one, tweet there.
Everyone get in touch with me @Fifi Prosper on the Twitterverse, and we also got a tweet from @Mackenzie, and this is Mackenzie who tweeted us last week as well. He's saying BioShock Infinite, anyone?
We'll talk about this just after the break.
Okay. Yeah, coming back with our look at the world of gaming, we're finding out more and more about Hayley over here, that she owned a Commodore.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised she said Commodore to begin with. I was like, oh, props.
I know, retro chick over here.
That is awesome. That actually brings a very funny joke T-shirt that I have. That it's it actually has a Nintendo cartridge in the front, and it just says, "If you want it clean, please blow on me." So,
yeah.
So
I know what you mean.
Yeah, so I found it really funny, and to see that you saying you have a Commodore and everything brings back the good old days, those cartridge days.
You get those cartridges, and the first thing you do is blow on the cartridge and get rid of the dust.
Exactly, and it's just incredible.
By the way, that they say is a myth. You really didn't have to do that for the game to play.
That is true. It actually was a myth.
It was just something that people, I don't know where, they caught it from, and it just went on.
And everyone did it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a lot of UAE people, because particularly considering that we live in a very sandy city, so forth, and there's a lot of dust in the air
Dust
and so forth.
everywhere.
So we figured that dust is the solution. Then the most curious thing is that I'm just going to blow into my cartridge and just put it right in and it should work
Getting
fine.
a cartridge for the Commodore was the best thing ever because you're used to the tapes loading and that screen just going for 20 minutes.
You brought up a very interesting point that I wanted to touch base on this, and I'm sure, I don't know, Fifi, if you will agree with me, is that are you okay with the idea that when you put a disc into your PS3 or Xbox and that there's an update out and you have to update it and like look at and then wait for it to update and then play the game then, and like even though it'll fix the game, like don't get me wrong, like I'm sure you enjoy it then, but aren't you sick of it?
I am so sick of it, and I'm so glad with the new PS4 that we can actually play a game while it's while it's downloading stuff in the background.
That's true, but my point is in this scenario is someone like, okay, in the PC days I understand, okay, like it's not a finished game, they want to break it up, but I'm seeing this with almost every other game nowadays, that everywhere there's an update coming out to fix a certain patch. I mean, they didn't have that in the Commodore and then in Mario.
No,
and
what
Nintendo
you buy is what you get.
What you buy is what you get, and and I think that's what I think. I'm just gonna put a big yelling shout out to these developers out there.
Yeah, guys.
Buddy, get your games right. We're sick of it. How much internet are you going to steal from my house?
Absolutely. When we put good money for our games, we want them complete from the start.
Exactly.
But those tapes would just not work, wouldn't they? Sometimes they would you'd load them and the screen would go all fuzzy and you'd make that noise.
That's
and
true.
then it wouldn't load.
I know.
It was so frustrating. I had Pictionary, and Pictionary, it only ever got to the point where it showed you the demonstration, and I became an expert on what they were going to demonstrate.
And explaining
couldn't get any further on it.
Which, by the way, we're going to ask the loyal gamers out there. I think, Haley, if you would mind, can you just tell us the name of the game again that you're looking for?
Okay, I played this game when I was younger on the Commodore with a cartridge.
Right.
And I've looked for it since, to have a retro little game, maybe on the iPad or something like that. It was called Flimbo's Quest.
All right.
And it was a great platform game, and I cannot find it anywhere. There seems to be no record of it.
All right, guys. I'm going to put this to our gamers.
Make it your quest.
Make it your quest. This is your quest out there. Find us this game, Flimbo's Quest. Tell us about it. SMS in. You can tweet us on.
Fifi Prosper.
And?
Lloyd and Lumber.
Yeah,
Lloyd and Lumber,
so Flimbo's Quest. That's the name of the game. Try and look for it for us.
We'll get to our final game just quickly. Thank you, Sam. Half-Life 2 action figures at Dubai Mall. Apparently.
Yes.
Hey,
absolutely.
Classic
Love
game.
everything Valve does.
In my room.
Last game, Defiance.
Defiance it looks to be an excellent game. I mean, it's a first-person MMO. It's a third-person MMO. Really fantastic. You have to be connected, obviously, to play this game. Thousands of people are going to be online playing it. And I mean, the graphics are gorgeous.
This looks amazing. They've made a TV show of this as well.
Absolutely. It's actually the first game to have a TV show be affected by what's happening in the game and the other way around. This is the first game of its kind. Yeah, it's brought to us by Namco Bandai. And basically, it's visually stunning. I mean, I really appreciate games that are graphically pleasing to the eye, and they use a style called cell shading. And this is something they've used also in games like Borderlands.
Yeah,
I'm sure you guys know.
I know cell shading. I think what I'm seeing here with this game particularly, especially, I didn't know about this TV show thing. That I found interesting.
That is awesome.
So are you telling me, like, just to clarify, is that whatever actions that take place in the game with the fan base and so forth, there are actors that will reenact what took place in the game in terms of storytelling? Is that what it is?
Basically, what it is what happens in the game, the storyline of the game, will affect what happens on the TV show in general. So let's say the thousands of gamers are going and attacking a boss, and they don't like that boss, and in the MMO.
Right. The TV show
will be the same thing. We'll have the boss killed off in some way or another.
You know what that shows me? You ever watch this movie Gamer, Gerard Butler? A very similar thing, except the video game controls a human being. That's what I'm actually seeing here, and that's actually quite a very funny thing to see.
Nice.
Have they started this TV show?
It's going to start sometime in April.
Okay.
I believe, and it's going to be really fantastic. And I mean, it's so awesome seeing like TV shows being integrated with games, and the mediums, like that line blurring between the mediums. It's very cool.
I hope they pick up a good actor and just kill him off on the fans, like just kill him off.
John, do you think this might be the future? These mediums kind of blending into each other.
Definitely, I think a really exciting game that Bungie are developing at the moment. The makers of Halo previously is Destiny. that they're teamed up with Activision, and a lot of the early press on that is showing that they're looking to once you carry your character with you in your everyday life. So moving through social media and different mediums, we don't know all the details yet, but they want it to be more of a holistic experience in people's life. So it's not good enough that you play 16 hours a day anymore on these titles and spend all your pocket money.
It's that you carry your hours with you as well.
I mean, these things do take time. Like this TV show has been, it's been in the works for 4 years, and the first season's already been shot. And like it's really going to be awesome. So I just suggest everyone look out for it.
Me too. I mean, I saw some of the clips of it up on the internet, and
absolutely, it looks gorgeous.
It does look impressive, I must say. But at the same time, coming from a developer like Namco Bandai, I don't know about that. I'm quite a little bit skeptical.
But
about
you're
it.
a big Naruto fan. How could you say that?
No, see, Naruto is not Namco Bandai. It's Cyber 2 Connect.
No, absolutely.
But with Namco Bandai, I used to love Namco Bandai. When they used to do Time Crisis, Time Crisis was a phenomenal game, and seeing them take whatever franchise they have done to what they've done now, for them to bring up a new franchise on their part, especially considering that it requires a lot of online play, MMO, storytelling, so forth. The concept looks amazing. Whether this will come into fruition, especially being an MMO, so it's not going to be free.
No,
it's not going to be free. That's for sure. And like for it to come into fruition, can they really pull it off? They really need to back it up a lot. And I think this is one thing. What we've seen with SimCity example, the servers going down and so forth, the fans are going nuts. Can we expect them to be the same way with this game as well? I think this is something that a lot of people have learned since SimCity, that if the fans are not treated right with their servers and everything, there will be problems.
Absolutely.
So I hope Namco realizes that this is a big situation, that especially it's a purely online game, we have to address.
Absolutely. I think the formula for MMOs is much different than a formula for what SimCity needed to do. Because we were saying this a little bit off air, that SimCity has been on for it's been there for ages. It's been there since 1, 2, 3, 4, and now with the latest one, it's like, why reinvent the wheel? Why all of a sudden go all online and this is the way you have to play?
Exactly.
I understand that they're doing it for piracy reasons, but there are so many ways to get around it. We don't need to be connected to play SimCity. And speaking of the SimCity launch, and this is a major reason why it's a huge fail.
And at the same time, it's SimCity is a kind of game, and I'm sure Defiance would be a kind of game that if I thoroughly enjoy it, and considering that if I travel a lot, I would like to play with it on the plane. I'd like to continue my gameplay on the plane. I'm not going to spend exuberant amount of money just to hire internet access on the plane and so forth and try it out. That's why when John, when you brought up Destiny, I thought that was very interesting, that hey, I get to play a game on my console, and then if I want, transfer it to my iPhone and iPad and so forth, and continue it on there. And I think that's the beauty that Bungie and Activision have thought about, that hey, everybody might not carry their laptop, but their phone, their portable device, it's now
there's always something that's connected.
It's part of their everyday life.
The key now is that you're connected to the people that you're playing with. That's where this big success was in, and again, I'll say we use World of Warcraft as the example, and even Call of Duty.
Exactly.
It's the fact that you can connect anytime and immediately just play with people, friends, people you've never met before, but you play with a lot, and that is the real key, and that's why they're going multi-platform. That's why you're looking at the guys who are making Android games, the guys that are making games for mobile. All these mediums are converging because it's about keeping everyone connected as much as possible to that franchise.
Quickly, Fifi, another.
Sumit, you promised us to talk about BioShock Infinite for Mackenzie.
Okay, so then let me just say this right now. BioShock Infinite is a great game. It has exceptional graphics with amazing weapons. In terms of storyline, they say it is the best BioShock Infinite game ever made, and I can easily tell you, and I will guarantee you, we will surely talk about more in detail by next week.
Fantastic. If you want to follow the guys on gaming,
tweet us at Fifi Prosper. You can find me anywhere with this handle, like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Just get at me. Let's talk video games. Let's have fun. Let's enjoy our time online.
Okay, and Sumit?
You can always tweet me at somedaddy27. If you want more stuff about the show, you can visit our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/gameon.ae. And if you want more information on Video Games Live, including updates, go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Video Games Live, ME as in Middle East.
And John, for any information about forthcoming leagues and everything that's happening, how can people kind of follow
you can visit the website, www.powleygaming.com, or follow us on Facebook, again, /Power League Gaming. 22nd this weekend, we're at Motor City Centre for an all-out sort of shoot-'em-up day.
Okay.
And then we're around the region for Warner Brothers Injustice, and then we'll see you all at Comic-Con.
Last word, Fifi?
I just want to say this was an awesome show, and everyone who's listening, who's really in tune with these kind of things, with gaming and all that stuff.
Beautiful.
Right? They should check out Region 2. It's youtube.com/The Region 2 Show, the 2 being number 2.
That's about a wrap. The news is next.